Hi everyone, welcome to ExcelBasics. This is going to be a screencast to go over some of the most common functions of Excel, and we'll go through a little bit of how to where to find everything and how to use these basic functions, and I'll also tell you about what parts of Excel you can ignore unless you're doing something really advanced, which we won't cover in this video, but this should give you a pretty good working knowledge, so hopefully it'll help you keep you from searching for things, how to do stuff for forever in Excel, and also give you a little bit of knowledge of how to create your own spreadsheets for your own personal use. To begin with, when you open Excel, there are different types of templates that you can use. So if you see something that you like as far as a template, there are some for like planners, or some for budgets. There's templates for everything. You can pick one of those and go from there. I don't usually use the templates because I often find that they're really great templates, but I often find that they're too complicated for what I need to use the spreadsheet for, or I just don't feel like changing the things that are too complicated about it or adding in my own stuff. So sometimes, a lot of times, I just create my own sheets because then it's exactly what I want it to be. You can work with the templates, and if you find that they work for you, great, and you just saved yourself some time creating an Excel sheet. But again, often I just find they have extra things that I'll never use, and I just like to bypass all that and create my own. So that said, I am using Microsoft Excel version 2016. I just upgraded a couple weeks ago. If you have the previous version, which I don't quote yet, but I think it's maybe 2013 was the last release date. I think there's a 2015. I don't know. But if you have the previous version, you haven't upgraded to 2016 yet, that's fine. I haven't found anything that's really in a too different place, or anything that's really fundamentally different. So you should still be able to watch this video and get some use out of it. So we're going to go through, and I'm just going to show you where everything is to start with. So I've chosen a blank document. When you open Excel, it'll take you to all those templates, and then you can just choose blank document. So I've chosen a blank document. So we're on the home screen, and this is going to be where most of your most commonly used functions and tools are going to be. So anything that you need for basic creating a spreadsheet should be right here for you. Your copy, cut, and paste, your font formatting, your alignment as far as centering or right or left justifying. There's things for wrapping text, merging cells. We'll get into that. Numbers are for if you use a number in your spreadsheet, it needs to know what kind of format you're meaning that number to be, whether it's a date, a time, a currency, whatever. Conditional formatting we may touch on, but it's a little bit more complicated, so I may save that for the basics class depending on how long this video gets to be. Format as a table we're going to skip. These styles right here are all just, you can see that highlighted cell that I have down there picked. If I scroll over a style, it will automatically format it in that way for me. So those are some presets. Inserting, deleting, and formatting the cells. So as far as the height, the width, and then also organizing the sheets and stuff is all right there. There is an auto sum function for adding totals across a span of cells. Fill, clear, sort, filter, find, and select. We'll talk more about those later. So these are all the basic things you would need as far as formatting your sheet. File is going to be where you can save, open a new sheet, print the sheet, export the sheet, as well as protecting the workbook. insert is going to be something we are going to skip for this tutorial. The only thing that you may possibly use insert for, as far as a basic sheet and not getting into, data charts and graphs and things like that, would be a picture import, or shape or screenshot import, something like that. So if you were developing a flyer or a brochure or anything with your logo, where you wanted to import your logo, this would be where you would do that. Page layout's good for whenever you go to print something. If you want to lay out your page before you print it and work within those specific parameters before you go and see if it's all going to fit on one sheet, because there's an infinite amount of rows and columns in Excel, this is where you would do that. So you can change the margins, you can change the orientation. So right now we're on landscape. I'm going to change to portrait. And then also it will show you the print area. You can select the print area, you can select your size. So say for instance I'm working with legal size paper. Well, I can click on legal size and then it should show me, let's see if I've got it even set. Let's see. It usually shows you dotted lines so that you can see where your page would end. I'm not seeing them. Maybe that's it right there. But there's another way you can see that. So this would be where you would set up your page, like what you intend to print on and the way you manage to print, or the orientation you plan to print in, and if you want your margins to be wider or narrower, that's where you would go to this page layout. I'm going to skip this scale to fit. Probably will hardly ever use that unless it's something printing. Just don't think you're going to use it. Maybe with your logo you might scale it. I don't know. Gridlines. When you print an Excel sheet, these gray little boxes right here will not show up. We see them right now because we have it chosen to be seen. So the grid lines are there. So we can tell where our cells are, but I mean, if you wanted to see what it would look like when you print it, well, there you go. Okay, print. You can print the grid lines if you want. That would change that option. This bring forward, send backwards, selection pane, align. That's for, remember like when we were talking about layers on my Canva tutorial? If you have more than one element and you need to align things or stack things up, overlap, or things like that, that's what all that is for. You can use Excel for nearly anything. I would probably not recommend that you use it for like a logo or graphic design, but you can import images and you can align them and you can create things in Excel. It's just more difficult than if you were using a graphics image manipulator or something like that. But the tools are here for arranging. I don't think they're going to be as good as anything else, but the functions are there for whatever reason you may use them. Okay. Formulas. We are going to skip this tab altogether as far as the tutorial today. But I will tell you it's basically advanced functions that you would use for accounting or just really, really advanced sheets that you're probably never going to create on your own. There's all kinds of technical terms here. I mean, they don't look technical, but they all do something as far as a formula. Sums, averages, things like that. Things that you probably would use if you're a data analyst, again, or accountant or something. So you're just never going to use this in your daily personal use. So you might use this calculator if you're using it for finances, but we're not going to get into that in the basics today. Data, I'm going to skip all of this as well because, again, unless you are using this formulas tab, you're probably not going to use this data tab. The only thing on this data sheet that's kind of fun, and we might touch on in the advanced video, would be like this data validation, remove duplicates kind of stuff. That can be very, very useful. and I don't know, it's kind of fun to play with, so we might show you that in the advanced video, but not today. Okay, review is helpful because it will spell check for you. Someone spell check. Hey, look, no thing to spell check because I haven't typed anything. Okay, Thesaurus is helpful if you want to find a word for something. So say, for instance, flourish. We want to find another word for flourish, and we can type it in there and click search, and it'll tell us all these little alternative words that we can use. I don't know why you would ever want to find another word for flourish, because flourish is a great word. But if you did, you click that thesaurus and you could look it up. Translate, if you wanted to translate some text into another language that you don't speak. I don't personally trust translators because I feel like there's a whole bunch of nuances and idioms and things in language that text translators can't capture. They may translate your text word for word, but the meaning may be lost because language doesn't work that way. So, you can do it, and it may turn out nicely, and it may say exactly what you want it to say, but if you don't speak that language, there's no way of knowing. So, I don't use translators at all. But if you want to get close to whatever you're intending to say, and you feel like that's a service you need to provide on your document or your business or whatever, there is that function built in. You don't have to go to Google Translate. It will translate it for you here. You can add comments. So if you needed to remember something or annotate something, but it's not necessarily part of the data or whatever you want to put in here, you can add a comment. Those comments do not show up when you print. It will just show on the screen that there's a comment there. And then you can protect the sheet or the workbook or share it. Protecting the sheet enables you to lock certain parts of the sheet you're looking at, different cells, to make them uneditable by others. So say, for instance, you have a contract that you type out and you put your contract in Excel, and then you want to allow people to electronically sign it and date it, but you don't want them to alter your contract. You could put that all in Excel in one big cell and lock that cell, and then nobody could edit it except for you, and then they could just go in. When you send this to somebody, they could go in and still be able to type their name and date in. Okay. Check Workbook does essentially the same thing, except it protects the entire workbook rather than just the sheet. So you can have an infinite number of sheets. Granted, it's going to make your file size really big, but you can. I once worked in a workbook that had like 20 sheets with it. It was a little ridiculous to keep scrolling, so I like to break generally workbooks down as much as possible and have a different workbook for different things. But you can have multiple sheets. So right now we're on sheet 1, and to add a sheet you simply click this little plus button. You can rename them by right-clicking on whichever tab you want to rename, and then this little box will pop up, and you can go to rename. So for today, we're going to rename this Flourish Screencast. Okay. And then we have sheet 2 over here that we can work with on a different day. Now these cells are smaller because I have them all nicely zoomed in on this one so that we can see what's going on. If you right click again, you can change the tab color. So if you want to color code your sheets, we're going to color code purple. Purple's pretty. And it'll change the tab for you. You can protect the sheet from here. In Excel, there is more than one way to skin a cat. So I might show you how to do something, and somebody else or you might tell you there's a different way to do it. Or you might know a different way to do something in Excel already. There are typically multiple ways to get to a function or a tool. So just take that with a grain of salt. So that you can change the tab color. You can pick more colors if you don't like any of these colors. You can use the code for this sheet if you happen to need HTML code. I'm just going to exit out of that. You can move or copy the sheets. So say you create sheets for each year, like a financial budget for the year or each month, and for some reason you skipped March, and then you want to decide that you need to go back in and add March because March does indeed exist, and you add it in, but it adds sheets in a line, so March would be down here at the end after you skipped it and you needed to move it. That move or copy function is what you would do. So you could right click, go to move or copy, and it'll tell you which book you want to change it to. Well, the only book we have open is book 1, and before sheet, and then you would say, pick whichever sheet you wanted to put March in, wherever you wanted to put it in your lineup, or you can move it to the end. You can also create a copy, so say, for instance, you like what's on your sheet, but you need to add some more details to it or tweak some things, and you don't want to mess up the original sheet. You can create a copy, and it'll move down here, and it'll say copy of Flourish Screencast. You rename it, and now you have a whole new workable sheet. It's great for templates. If you create your own template and you want to work with it later on down the road for something else, that's how you would do that. Okay. So I think we quickly went through almost everything except for view. We didn't go to view. Okay, this is where I generally go to see what my print margins are. So that page layout will set margins for you and set your paper size, but if I am working with this and I can't tell where my line breaks are, my dotted line's not showing up, this is something. This is a line break. I don't know why it's not dotted right now, but it's something. It's a margin of some sort. But you can go to this page break view right here, and these dark blue lines are draggable. So on page 1, say I only wanted to print up to H, and then page 2 would be the rest of the columns, I could drag that. Or say I have a lot more information that needs to be captured, I drag it down. Or if I have a ton of information right here and say it technically will all fit on page 1, but I don't want it to, I want to break it up, I can drag it up and shorten the page. So this is a great way to see where your margins are for when you're going to print something. Okay, I don't need any other pages, so we're just going to get rid of page 2 by dragging the bar all the way over. We're going to start with page 1. Okay, page layout will show you a print preview, essentially, what it's going to print. So right now I have this many columns selected, so it's going to print that many columns on every page, and it just goes on infinitely and shows you what your layout looks like. Custom views, you can develop your own views. Zooming, zoom selection, I think everybody knows what that means. A new window, arrange all, is nice if you have multiple workbooks that you need to look at and work out of. So say you have one workbook that has your family schedule for the week, and you were using Excel to meal plan, but obviously your meal plan is based off of what you have going on in your home that week, whether you're going to be home, if you need a quick dinner, if you can, whatever. So you might have book A open for viewing next to book B open for your meal plan, so that you can be typing in B but looking at A at the same time. So that's what that new window, arrange all, would be. It would ask you what workbook to open, and you can arrange it vertically, top and bottom, or side to side. I don't deal with macros. Switch windows if you want to switch between. If you have multiple books open, you can switch around that way rather than minimizing and closing and all that. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all of the tabs up here and the overview of what's in them. We're going to, for the basics today, we're going to work with, oops, let me go back to view. Alright, I'm going to keep it on normal. I'm going to change my page view so I don't have these annoying little lines. I don't really want to see those, so, okay, whatever. Okay, I'm just going to make it one big page so we can focus on that. Go back to normal, and I mean, I still have lines, but whatever. Okay, and then I'm going to go home, and we're going to work with these today for the most part. So, when you create a worksheet, it takes a little bit of planning for what you want to do with that worksheet, based on where you're gonna put things. So we're gonna work with a weekly planner type thing today. In the advanced class, we will do either an inventory or a budget sheet, and I may have a class for each one. I haven't decided yet, but there will be. We will walk through an entire sheet to create one or the other. But for this basics, I didn't want to get too complicated because Excel has a lot of functions and things are kind of hidden sometimes, and it can be overwhelming if you've never ever worked with Excel. So I just want to do something basic, and we'll kind of make it pretty and just go from there. So it depends on what the purpose of your sheet is on how you lay it out. So for our purpose, for a monthly planner, there would be, or a weekly planner, there's one of two ways we could do this. We could put our days down the side and our times across the top, or we could put our days across the top and our times down the side. It really doesn't matter. It's up to your personal preference. I like the days across the top, just because I feel like my eyes naturally move from top to bottom rather than across. Like I want to see things in a list. That's how my eyes interpret things. So I'm going to create my planner with the days across the top. Okay, so just in order to show you a feature, I'm going to go ahead and just start right in with Sunday. And then I'm going to put Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, Friday and Saturday. Okay. Now, I need some times so that I can schedule stuff, but I used my first column over here for Sunday. That's fine. That's okay. It's not a big deal because you can right-click on the thing, on the column. So if you click on this letter up here, it will highlight the entire column. That entire column of cells is now selected, which means that it goes on forever, indefinitely. If you wanted to select just a certain portion of a column, so the visible portion, you would click on the very first cell that you want to select. So if it's Sunday, select Sunday. If it's the one below it, select that one. And then hold and drag down to select a certain portion. But if you click the letter, it's going to select that column indefinitely. Okay, which is what we want to do for this, because I want to insert a new column because I want everything to move over, because I didn't leave myself enough space to put times for my scheduler. So I can click on it, that's a left click to select it, and then a right click to go to insert, and it will insert a column to the left of whatever I selected. It will always insert to the left, so if you want to put something between Sunday and Monday, click on Monday and hit insert. So it will always insert to the left. You can click on this little paintbrush right here. This little paintbrush shows up sometimes when you insert things, and it wants to know what kind of format should that new column be in, because I have text in these other columns. Do you want the format to be the same as the column to the left? Or do you want the format to be the same as the column to the right? Or do you want no formatting in it at all? We're just going to click no formatting to make my paintbrush happy. Okay. It might still stay there, but I don't care if it's there. It's just there until I think I type something and get rid of it. Okay, so this is going to be times. Now, you don't have to put anything in here because there's no other day of the week. So this first row right here is like your titles, your headings. And if I put days of the week here as like a title for what those names are, well, that doesn't really match up with what's going on down. It won't be days of the week. It's going to be times. So, I mean, you can leave it blank. If it really bothers you to have a blank cell in the corner, you can put date/time if you wanted to, or we could simply black it out, and that sets it apart a little bit visually so that you know it's not part of your grid. So here we can put times, and I'm not even gonna list all the times. I'm gonna start at 8 a.m. because I don't know. I mean, unless you start work before 8 a.m., feel free to put 5, 6, 7 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever. But I make a habit of not starting my day before 8 a.m. because I have a toddler and I would like to eat breakfast and have coffee. So 8 a.m. is when my planner is going to start. And then say we don't need every hour. Maybe we just need every other hour in here. I don't know. If you plan stuff by 30 minutes, you might want to put the 20 minutes in here. It's whatever times you want to put in there is how you can make it. So then another cool feature is if you do a couple times and you want to continue that trend, there's a little box down here in the corner, that little bitty box above that plus sign. You can click on it and just drag it as far down as you want, and it'll automatically fill in that trend for you so that you don't have to go through and type 24 hours worth of times. You can just do a few, and Excel is smart. It will see the pattern that you're doing, and then you drag that little box, this little green box, all the way down until you're satisfied. Now, if you only want to go 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., that works. If you decide you want to start at 8 a.m., but you want to be able to schedule until it's 8 a.m. the next morning. Sorry. I was reading it wrong. So that would take you, it's in military time right now, that would take you through to midnight. And that would take you in through 8 a.m. the next morning. So I don't really want to schedule till the next day, because that's technically Sunday. So I'm just going to schedule my life until midnight. Okay. So it's smart. It will recognize trends for you. The other thing you can do with that is autofill. And once you've done that, so once I've created my pattern, I've created my little sequence of my series of numbers here. There's that little box right here. It has the little blue and white cells and this little arrow. If I click on the little arrow, it will give me other options. So maybe I didn't mean to autofill a series, which is what's selected right here automatically. Maybe I didn't mean to do that. Maybe I meant to copy it. And maybe that's what I meant to do. It's not working because I clicked off of it. Let me see. Hang on. Let me show you correctly. Let me get rid of all this. Okay. I can't think and talk at the same time, apparently. Okay, so maybe I didn't mean to fill a series. So maybe I dragged it down to there. But I didn't mean for it to fill the series, I meant to copy. So I wanted actual chunks of repeating time. I don't know why I would want that for a planner, but there's that feature. Maybe I just wanted to fill the formatting. So it won't actually put anything in here, but it's going to copy whatever format this is in, which means right now it's in that font, it's in a black color, and it's in a date, or it's in a time format. So anything I type in here will be formatted the same way these cells are formatted. Okay. I could fill without the formatting, which gives me the same thing. Sometimes I don't hardly ever use that. There may be a situation, I can't even think of an example, but there may be a situation you might want to fill those cells without using the same format as previous. And flash fill looks new to me. So I'm just going to undo that, and I'm not even going to play with it in this basics because I haven't learned enough about it to teach anything in the basics. Okay, so I'm going to drag back down to midnight, and it auto-filled. I want to make sure, yeah, filled my series. Okay, so we're good. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. My week starts on Sunday. Repeats. Scheduling my day is from 8 a.m. to midnight, which isn't true because I probably go to bed at 10. But for the example, we're scheduling till midnight. I'm going to be a party animal this week, apparently. Okay. You can stop here if you want to. You can. Because this is functional. It gives you a cell. You can type in it. You can print this if you'd like, but there wouldn't be any lines for you to write on because remember these gray little boxes don't print. I like to make things pretty, and I like things to be set apart and easy on the eyes, and this to me is just very plain and dull, and I probably would never use a planner that was plain or dull because it's just not me. So I'm also bothered by this Wednesday right here that's chopped off. So there's a way to fix that, and the way to fix it is you can I think you can double click on that line in between E and F, and it will automatically resize it for you. The other option to do resizing is to left click on the little gray line in between a column and drag. So you can actually drag it bigger, you can drag it smaller, whatever. We're just going to double click on it and it's going to automatically size it for me to the word Wednesday. Okay, so I don't like this little white square here. It's kind of bothering me. So I'm just going to highlight it, and I'm going to make it black so that it's not part of my grid. It's kind of a blacked out area. Okay. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to create nice little boxes that I can write in for my planner. So to do that, I have to highlight the boxes that I want to make borders around. So I'm going to highlight these boxes right here. These gray boxes are all selected, plus the white one that I started on are all selected. Okay, up here, next to the paint can, is this little box right here, and right now it says bottom border. So if I click this picture right now, it's going to apply a bottom border to my entire selection, which means the only thing I'm going to get is this bottom border right here. It doesn't apply a bottom border to each cell. It applies the bottom border to whatever area you have selected. Okay, so I can click on that little arrow and I get a whole bunch of options for borders. So the best thing to do would be to have all borders, because I want individual boxes separating each time and separating each day. So you can see it put in a border around everything. There might be a tiny border right here, but it's not showing up very well, but that's okay because we're going to fix it. So then I want my times and my days to stand out nicely. So I'm going to give them a border as well. I'm going to select all borders and give them a border. I don't know why that's not highlighting. You might not be able to see it. Okay, and then I'm going to give them a thick box border, the outside border, to help it set apart. Yeah, there was one there. You just couldn't see. So I'm going to set that apart a little bit. So all of this is outside is all bordered up. Now, the other thing I can do is I can select all of those, and I can go to more borders down here. Say that I want the thick line to go in between the numbers as well. So I have to go to more borders, and where it shows me right now is where my thick box border is. If I click the middle line and then click OK, it'll make the middle lines nice and bold too. Okay, so we're going to go going to automatically go to more borders. I'm going to select the thickness, and I'm going to select the outsides and the inside. So I just clicked there to select all the borders that I wanted, because I'm doing the vertical borders this time and the outside of those boxes. And I wanted it bold. You can make it bolder, which you would have to click on it again. I don't know if you can see that it got bolder, but you can make them dotted. You can make them, that other one was dashed, but that's actually dotted. You can do whatever. So you can change the color of these borders. So if I wanted to make my border red, I just click red and I click on the border. Okay, let me fix it and go back. Okay, so now those are all bold too. Okay. Now the top doesn't look like it's bold because it's up against the letters, but when it prints, and then down here by the numbers, when it prints there will be an actual box all the way around it. And I can show you that in print preview whenever we go to finish. Okay, so I have the numbers, my days. This isn't a lot of space for me to write in. So you can resize these to make them bigger. What you can do, let me see if you can. You can highlight all these cells. You can highlight all of them. And you can go to Format, and you can go to Column Width right here. Autofit column width is what's going to be autofit to whatever the longest word is. So if I were typing out in my planner and I had a really long word one day, or a really lot of text, it would automatically resize to fit all of that text, or the biggest cell. Okay, default width would take it back to whatever it was when it started before we typed anything. But right now I want to change the column width, and you can just play around with it. So say if I want it to be, I don't know, we're going to start with 10 and see how big that makes. Okay, well that's how big that is, and that's not big enough for me. So we're going to make it 30. Not sure, 39 instead of 30. Okay, there we go. Nice big cells for us to type in. Now, if that's not enough space for you, you can also change the column height. So if you don't want your words all spread across the screen and you don't want to scroll that much, maybe you want to change the row height. It's now at 15. We'll just double it to 30. And it makes it thicker for you. Okay. I'm going to shorten these back up just so we can see everything. I don't like to scroll. I'm lazy that way. So I'm going to take it to 20. And I got most of the week. That's fine. Well, I don't like to scroll forever. I'll scroll a little bit. Okay. So we have our times over here. We have our days of the week up here. We've got this black box. We've got, you know, if you really wanted to get all making borders and stuff, you could select those and make them black just so that you can focus on one thing. It's up to you, you know, whatever. While we're on that topic, I'm going to show you how to merge cells. So right now, all of those cells that are black, they're all black. But they're all their own individual cell. I have this border in between it. You can't see the other borders because I colored everything black. But they are their own individual cell. It's not one giant cell. If I want it to be one giant cell, I can highlight all of that and click Merge and Center. Merge across. And it should merge everything for me. I don't know why I didn't do these. I'm going to undo this so I can see. Oh, it merged everything across. I didn't merge all of them. Right. Okay, so it merged across, so it merged each row into its own row. That's really helpful for titles. So if you wanted to create a title for your sheet, that's how you would do that. We'll do that in a second. I'm just going to merge cells. Merge all the cells. There we go. I don't know what's going on with my column A. Why that line is there, but it bothers me right now, but it won't be printed. It's fine. Sometimes I have to play around with things and figure out what I did wrong in order to fix it. It's usually not Excel, it's just usually I clicked on something wrong and have to go back and figure out how to fix it. So that's okay. It's the nice thing about Excel is that it's all fixable. Okay. So let's add a row here, and we'll insert a row, and we'll merge all those cells. Okay, and we're going to make our title for our weekly planner. So weekly planner. Okay, well I don't like those words way over here, so back over here in the alignment is where you would center that, and it centered it all the way over here because I selected the entire row. Remember when I said don't select the entire row, it will go on indefinitely? Well, I did. So in order to undo that, you can select the entire row, and you can go to unmerge cells, and it brings all those little divisions back. And then you could do it the correct way that I meant to. Sorry guys, I was fighting with a migraine earlier today and my brain's a little fried. So you can select the cells that you just want to combine and then click merge cells or merge and center. And if you already have the text typed in to the first cell, it'll center the word for you. If you didn't, you can click merge and center, that's fine. Or you can click merge cells or merge across if you're just doing a row, whatever. But again, multiple ways to skin a cat. Okay, so my weekly planner's there, but now I want to set it apart a little bit more, so I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to change, that's where you make it bold, and then I'm going to change the font sizing up here, so I can make it really big. Okay, weekly planner. And then I want to make it pretty, so I'm going to change the color for the fall. There we go. Nice and orange for fall. Okay. Well, again, you can stop here, or you can continue to format and make things pretty. So if you wanted to do that, you can highlight each cell and make it a different color. You can change all the colors of the words. You can change the color and the font. So say if this whole row, I just want this row to forever be in this Algerian font for fun. You can select the whole row and it'll change all of the words. And if I want this whole column to forever be in this font, then you can select the whole row and it'll change all of it. If I want every other word to be, in a different font, then I could do that and change, just select the cell. Control and clicking will select more cells than one cell at once. So if I click this one and then click Control and this one and this one and this one and this one, we can select more than one cell. You can copy, that way you can copy and paste more than one cell, things like that. Okay, I want my weekly planner to be in a pretty border again, thick outside border, so when it prints it's nice and pretty. And then maybe down here I want some notes, so I can select all of those and click merge across, and it'll create some blank lines for me. And then I can select them again and do all borders, and it'll put the lines there for me. So now I can just write notes in those lines if I wanted to. So there you have it. That's pretty simple, easy grid gives us space to write stuff if we printed it. If you wanted to keep it on Excel and type in your planner every week, you could do that. If we wanted to see what this was going to look like when we print it, we can either go to View and Page Break Preview to see if it will all fit on one page, and right now it's telling me it will. I kind of doubt it because paper's only so big. But right now that's where the margins are set, and then down here's page 2. So maybe we have it set well enough. Aha. That's where that line came from. Okay. So see how our numbers are in gray and our weekly planners in gray? That is outside of our printed selection area right now. So you can drag that over to include that part, and it'll get printed now. Before, if you had printed that, it wouldn't have been printed. I don't know why that happened, because it shouldn't. It's probably an error on my end. And I just fixed it, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so page 2, if you don't want your printer to print out a blank page, I like to just get rid of those cells. So I just drag that bar up so that my printer only recognizes that there's one page to be printed, because otherwise it won't print forever, but right now it thinks that there's a page 2 it should print, and it will just spit out a blank page, and it's just quite annoying. Okay, you can work from this screen too, so like it can still select all these cells right here and do things with them. It's just a smaller view. And that's okay. I mean, I can still go home and it'll keep it in this view, and now I'm like, oh, well, I have all this space and I'm, printing a page anyway. I'll just make some more note cells. So I'm going to merge across and make lines, and I'm going to click my borders that I had selected all borders and just make some lines here for notes. It's fine. And then maybe I don't like that it's not annotated, but that's what that's for, so I'm going to type in notes there. So you can do all that from this view. You can work on it from this view. It's just really small and hard to see. So to make it big again, go back to View and click Normal, and it'll normalize it for you. Again, I have it all scrolled in. If you hold down Control and scroll up or down, you can just automatically zoom that way. I don't know if that's not an Excel thing. If you didn't know that already, you can do that with almost anything you're looking at on the computer. So I just had it zoomed in so we could see what was going on. And then notes, I'm going to make it nice and pretty as well. Formatting's the same. And there you go. Let me put my border around it. I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to the way my spreadsheets look. I like everything to look consistent. So even though this is just a screencast, I had to put that in there. So okay, so this is our finished planner. Again, if you want to see it, just spit another line at me, and I don't like that. Okay, this is what our planner looks like, and that's exactly what it would look like when it gets printed. If you don't like that black box there, you can take it away. So right at this point, I would go to File and Save As, and I would save it as something, or I can go to Print, and it'll show me the print preview of what is actually going to be printed, where the dark boxes are, so you can see, again, my perfectionism coming through. I dark boxed this border, but I didn't dark box this border. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to select the entire area. You just hold down on that first and drag down. I think that bottom row needs to go away. That's what's on page 2. And then I'm going to do a big nice border around it. Okay, to delete a row, you can select the row and right click on it and click delete, and it'll get rid of it. So I accidentally added one too many merged cells, so I just wanted to get rid of it. I'm going to go back to my view, make sure I'm all on page 1. You don't have to do that. You can just go straight to print, preview, and it'll tell you down here if you've got more than one page, and then if you decide you don't need that second page, like it's going to pretend to print a block, or you've got too many rows or whatever, you just go back and fix it. You can also choose to print the entire workbook, so if I had more than one sheet that I was working on and I wanted to print it as a booklet, or, you know, a stack of papers, not really a booklet, but it goes together, you would click print the entire workbook. If you just want to print a selection of cells, so it's really important for data and things, if you just needed a printout of rows 1 through 5, you could just select rows 1 through 5 and then click print selection. Change your margins here, just like you can in the layout. You can change the paper size here, just like you can in the layout. You can scale this. You can click fit all columns on one page. If your columns, you didn't change your page boundaries and your columns are running over, you can do that. It'll do it for you. Click fit sheet on one page. If your whole sheet's not fitting on the page, it'll scale it down for you, all rows, things like that. So all those, all the stuff that's over here, this page layout, scale to fit, and page setup, that can all be done under your print preview, so I just don't even worry about it within the application for the most part. Alright, we're going on an hour for this video now. I know we didn't do a lot. This is very, very basic. This was mostly to orient you with Excel and to kind of show you how to use it just a little bit so that you can go in and play with it. Again, you can import images to this. There's 1,000 different uses. I'll just show you some of the templates that 2016 has. So like they have an invoice tracker, a whole calendar year, but it's all formatted their own way. So like it already has all this formatting in it for you, which just annoys me. I don't want to go in and fix somebody else's formatting and change it. I just would rather do it myself. But for people that don't want to take the time to create an Excel spreadsheet, especially some of these really complicated ones, home inventory, there's a vacation items checklist, calorie, that might be neat. You can pick some of these if they're more complicated than you're feeling like up to, and you can tweak them and work from them. Or you can create your own that works for you. That would be the blank workbook. I am going to create more screencasts for Excel because there is so much you can do with Excel that I think that an advanced class would maybe be beneficial, especially if you don't want to use a template and you'd like to create a personalized or customized inventory system or budgeting, financial, accounting system. So I am going to create a couple screencast tutorials for that. This basics tutorial was a Flourish resource freebie, and the classes, the advanced classes, will be a service provided by my Blue Fairy Studios virtual assisting services. So that if you were interested in a more advanced Excel tutorial class where we will walk through and create those spreadsheets from scratch in those tutorials, then I need you to sign up for that. It's going to be probably in the range of $25 to $30. I'm thinking it depends on how long the videos are and how in depth they are, but it'll be pretty affordable. I'm not going to charge a crazy ton for that. So probably about $30. Just plan on that. And if you want to sign up for that, please send me a message on Facebook, or you can visit me on my website at www.bluefairystudios, blue the color fairy, Fairy, studios with an S.com. And you can send me a form through my contact form and sign up that way. If you have any questions about this video or the advanced videos or anything about Excel, please feel free to comment on the thread, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.